Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hopefully today the connection is better than in the previous videos on different location. Welcome back to my channel. I have a number of videos prepared for you, and even if the speed is not quite smooth, make sure to watch it. I will attach the links down below and hopefully it brings you some value. Because today what I would really like to talk about, as you can see in the title of this video, is Trump and Epstein photos and the missing children. I would separate this as far as the news. However, in a way, it is connected. I want to start with a story. I want to share a story that I'm sure I'm not the only one. Maybe we had similar experiences, some of you watching my channel. In 2020, when Schmovit, as I call it, pandemic, was announced to the humanity on Earth, problem, reaction, solution was implemented. And of course, that entire situation had many reasons for it to be our experience. Besides the aspect of elections being stolen, in talking United States, of course other countries, but mainly the 2020 election. Besides the aspect of the population, there was an aspect of control as well. And there was an aspect of seeing how easily many people will still believe that this is the solution, that whatever they have been offered to cure something is going to be the solution. As a matter of fact, hardly you hear anything from media how many people now are dying because of that substance that they decided to take in. I was never one of those people. From the very first moment, I knew this is absolutely something to stay away from. It's not my place to judge those of you who are watching me and decided to do it. You had other reasons, your reasons, but there is a free will and I chosen not to do it. Why I'm saying all of this? Because that was the main topic and that was something that the majority of people were living in. That was their focus. That's what was grabbing their attention, constant fear and constant pushing for this. Meanwhile, there were other people who really wanted to find out what was the truth, and they were researching that, and they were discovering also other truths and other topics connected to the group of the same individuals who created this whole Schmovit agenda. And one of those truths, one of those things was the list. And that was the flight log list with the names of the people who were flying to Epstein Island. I came across this list many, many times, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who came across this list. I'm sure some of you who are watching me know exactly what I'm talking about. I know that there are people who doubted if it was legit. I think it was legit. And I think it was revealed to us in the time for a reason, to be prepared, because things were already shaking up. On that list, you could see the names, for example, Bill Clinton, Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, and many, many other celebrities from Hollywood and from the entertainment industry. Many politicians from different governments, not just US government. And why this is important? Because now they want you to focus on those files. That's what media wants. Now the media wants you to believe that Trump is one of those people, that he is the pedophile, that he abuses children, because I guess that's the same type of people, right? That he probably participated in adrenochrome harvesting, organ harvesting, I don't know, you name it. I came to the point when I just look at it and I said, why don't those people who seem to be so bright and so awakened and so aware that media is lying to them, that this is another psyop as far as the topic goes, Trump being part of it, it really is a psyop. But that's what they want you to do. If Democrats are pushing now for those files to be released, I say this, be careful what you ask for, because you are actually on the list. Many of those are on the list. So are they delusional, or this is about the exposure of those people? There is a story behind it all, and some of you don't like Trump, you have Trump deranged syndrome, whatever it is. I just know one thing, that what's going on right now, it's something that you have to connect the dots. You have to look into unfoldment of those things in a way that once this is released, and eventually it might be, might be not, but there are other things happening before that list, if there is going to be released this list, that hold enormous importance. Enormous. And you will see how those people who will be brought to justice first are also on that list. In my opinion, that's how it goes. But let's look at the first video that I prepared for you. It's not an easy topic to talk about because it's very, easy to argue. A lot of you don't like Trump, but that's your choice. I support Trump, I say it openly, and I don't have any problem with this. On the contrary, from 2020, when I was really seeing how media was manipulating our minds, the same as they want you to hate Putin, the same as they want you to hate Trump, everyone they want you to hate is actually, you have to reverse it. This is how they do the entire programming thing. And I'm not delusional. I have my own wisdom and intelligence and critical thinking, and I have also free will, and I can choose what I believe in and what resonates with me and what doesn't. Let's look at the first video. In this video, you're going to see a very well put together data, information about Trump and Epstein and their photos and the real estate and the kind of connection they had. A lot of things I didn't know about. Some dates will be mentioned, and it's very helpful to look at it. I hope the video will play well and you will gain some knowledge from this clip, as I did myself.
But I'll never tell a lie. Democrats and the media are getting extremely lazy, recycling the same 4 photos of President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. But the reality is that this man is the antithesis of this man. And I'm about to lay down a timeline that's going to blow the media's narrative apart. First of all, these photos that they keep circulating from the 90s, let me tell you something about this man right here, okay? He was the king of New York in the 80s and 90s. So everyone wanted a picture with President Trump. He was doing it big then, and he's doing it big now. Let's just look at the president and some other big names he was with. Oh, sorry, wrong picture. Hold on. Wrong once again. You know what? Let's get back into the timeline, because once you follow the actual facts, the media story falls apart. Let's look at some flight logs. See, President Trump flew with Epstein 8 times, and the majority of those times was with his wife at the time, Marla Maples, their daughter Tiffany, and their son Eric, along with the nanny, all right here. And they only flew from Palm Beach to Jersey or to Washington, D.C. The president's last flight with Epstein was in 1997. And this is where we run into our first problem, because see, Jeffrey Epstein didn't buy his island until 1998. So again, President Trump last flew with Jeffrey Epstein in 1997. Epstein bought his island in 1998. Now fast forward to 2004, and this is where their friendship ended, when they were both bidding for this oceanfront mansion in Palm Beach, Florida. And President Trump, like the boss he is, outbid him at $41 million. And that checks out, because in 2019, President Trump said he hadn't spoken to him in 15 years. 2004, 2019, the math checks out. Now in 2007, President Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for stealing spa employees, including Virginia Giuffre, who in one of her last posts was extremely happy that Donald Trump was the president. President Trump even cooperated in 2009 in an investigation that got Epstein arrested. Fast forward to 2019, it was President Trump's DOJ that arrested Jeffrey Epstein on federal charges. That would be called the opposite of helping a friend out. Media's recycling old photos and old lies because that's all they got. Yeah, nothing seems to stick. Every 2 weeks, it's a new gotcha moment. But the reality is, It's fucking exhausting already, because at the end of the day, it's not President Trump that's the problem for them. It's the truth. But now I want to hear from you guys. Are you tired of the media every 2 weeks trying to come up with a new scandal that just won't stick? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, love you guys. Peace. You might not like.
All right, so since we have this off the way, now let's look at the Democrats. What are they cooking? And don't you think if this would be so legit, why haven't they used this in 2016? Why they haven't used this in 2020? Now, all of a sudden, this is a big, big problem. Like I said, be careful what you wish for, because if I'm not mistaken, Chuck Schumer likes little boys. And I think he's married to a dude. Kind of like Big Mike's story, just different person. Just saying, you have to do your own research as well. Now let me take you to the breaking news, because this is what Democrats came with yesterday.
I was really proud to join every single one of my Democratic colleagues on the Homeland Committee in invoking a century-old and little-known law known as the Rule of Five to compel the Department of Justice to release the full and complete Epstein files. Under federal law, when any 5 senators on the Homeland Security Committee call on the executive branch must comply. Our request covers all documents, files, evidence, and other materials in possession of the DOJ, the FBI, related to the case of United States versus Jeffrey Epstein. While protecting the victims' identities can and must be of top importance, the public has a right to know who enabled, knew of, or participated in one of the most heinous sex trafficking operations in history. Let me remind everyone of what's happened in recent months. Donald Trump campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. He broke that promise. In February, FBI Director Kash Patel promised during sworn testimony in his confirmation hearing he would, quote, make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened. Well, that has yet to happen. AG Bondi said in February that a supposed, quote, client list, she said, was sitting on her desk right now to review. And she said that's been a directive by President Trump. 5 months later, we have 0 answers, only more questions. What have we gotten since? Stonewall, evasion, lies. So today, Senate Democrats took action. We're invoking federal law and using our authority as a check on the executive to compel transparency. That's why today's letter matters. It's not a stunt, it's not symbolic. It's a formal exercise of congressional power under federal law. And we expect an answer from DOJ by August the 15th.
What's at stake here is not just the president's promises, although they are absolutely clear when he said, quote, President Trump says he will declassify the 9/11 files, JFK files, and Epstein files, end quote. That's President Trump. What's at stake here is more than the president's promises. It's the credibility of our justice system and the question whether there was proper criminal prosecution, whether it was complete and full, whether it was accurate, and what additional facts the American people are entitled to know. What's at stake is also the victims. This crime by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell was not a victimless crime. It was not just about money laundering. It was not just about lying to the government. It was about exploiting women, in fact, girls who were mercilessly and repeatedly subject to abuse and trafficking. And that is why the American people have a right to know who else was involved, whether the system really was rigged in favor of the rich and powerful, which is what the suspicion has been on the part of a lot of the president's supporters, and why they so enthusiastically greeted his promises of full disclosure. He's broken those promises. We're going to enforce the law to make him fulfill his commitments to be transparent and full in disclosure.
I was really proud to join every
So, Chuck Schumer, look into him. I invite you to look into him and look into his wife. You might find some things that are not so pleasant. And if you follow the money, you probably will find much more. As he said that he was very proud to join that group of people who want those files to be released. Like I say, be careful what you ask for, because a lot of things might come out. So let's look into those children, those missing children. What just took place in the state of Alabama? It's another proof that Trump administration is again fighting with human trafficking, as it was doing during Trump's first term. There was entire, I think, department created, or entire organization created to focus on human trafficking. And let's look into it. What just took place in Alabama?
Well, a total of 7 people are now in custody in connection to a child trafficking case involving an underground bunker in Bibb County. Some of the suspects are the children's own parents, and authorities say more victims may still be out there. ABC 3340's Gracie Johnson has more details, and we want to warn you, you may find it disturbing.
It's a case investigators say they'll never forget. Children drugged and tied up, taken underground into a bunker where strangers paid to abuse them.
Sometimes there would be multiple people that would come by and victimize these children on a nightly basis.
10 children so far have been identified. The youngest just 3 years old, the oldest 15. Most of them are under the age of 10, and investigators fear there are more victims and suspects still unaccounted for.
Some of them come in as they got old enough to be desirable to a pedophile, I guess. And then some of them, their victimization started out when they were younger, and then they reached the age of 10.
Investigators say the children were sexually abused in what was described as appointments paid for by offenders.
Sometimes they could make up to $1,000 a night.
And some of the people who were supposed to protect them were the ones handing them over.
Some of these people are acquaintances, some of them are family, and some of them are just people that they were able to schedule to come to the storm shelter.
Law enforcement believed this wasn't just a local crime. It was part of an organized human trafficking network, possibly linked to a violent gang. One suspect, Andres Trejo Valquez, is believed to have connections to a gang called Serenos, a group the sheriff says profits off child exploitation. His legal status in the U.S. is now under investigation.
Wherever this guy come from, we don't know what he left in his trail.
Gracie Johnson reporting, and anyone with any information on this case is asked to contact the Bibb County Sheriff's Office.
So I don't live in the United States, as you know, at this moment. I don't. Tell me, is it on the mainstream media? Do they report this on the mainstream media? Or just on the local TV stations like this one was? That's what's going on, right? And this is all across United States and many other countries. Let's look into Department of Homeland Security official website. DHS leads efforts to rescue child victims of sex and labor trafficking. We have to talk about this stuff, guys, because this is very important. And if we don't, those evil, demonic people or creatures will continue. So let's look into it. The Trump administration, and this is from July 25th this year, has located 13,000 children who came across the border unaccompanied. Washington Secretary Noem is leading efforts to rescue and stop the exploitation of the 300,000 unaccompanied children the Biden administration lost or placed with unvetted sponsors, like, for example, pedophiles. Many of the children who came across the border unaccompanied were allowed to be placed with sponsors who were actually smugglers and sex traffickers. The Trump administration has located 13,000 of those children. In March 2025, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, identified a backlog of more than 65,000 reports regarding children who came across the border unaccompanied that were ignored during the Biden administration. So this paragraph here, this talks about the video that I played for you, I think 2 videos ago. I had a live stream with Tom Luongo. Before that live stream, I created a video in which I was showing you a recording where 65 calls to the help center from those children that needed help were not answered. So this is what this is regarding to. Since discovering this, HHS stood up a triage, I don't know how to say it, center and modernize outdated software systems to triage, I'm sorry if you say it like that or different way, and action all reports. As of July 24 this year, 2025, more than 59,000 of the backlogged reports have been analyzed and processed, resulting in more than 4,000 investigative leads, including fraud, human trafficking, and other criminal activity. Quoting now Secretary Kristi Noem, "The evil of human trafficking cannot be overstated. It's modern-day slavery. By leaving our borders open and even encouraging people to come here illegally, Biden enabled the largest human trafficking operation in modern history. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to eradicate human trafficking operations targeting the United States. Under the leadership of President Donald Trump and working together at every level of government, we can win this fight, and we will." All right, so this is from the official website of Homeland Security of the United States. Now, let me just remind you guys, because some of you probably forgot, Biden's relationship with children, since some of you probably regret that Kamala didn't win. So let's just have a little reminder of Biden and children.
All the kids under the age of 15, come on up here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? How are you, baby? How old are you? I used to love to drive. They don't let me drive anymore. I want to say one thing to your children. I know some really great ice cream places around here, and Daddy owes you.
And children can very easily sense the energy and sense if this is demonic creature or maybe it's someone good, just like dogs can The purity of children and purity of dogs, it's exactly the same. You cannot bullshit them. You just can't. But they are vulnerable, and if the parents don't protect them, then Biden would sniff them, right? That's all I have for you today, everyone. The links will be attached down below this video in the description box. I just invite you and encourage you to do more research on your own, and don't repeat the same story that media wants you to repeat over and over and over again. That's all I have for you. Links will be down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Subscribe free of charge. And if you choose to support my work, the best way is to become my Patreon or join the locals community, become the member of the channel, or simply donate on PayPal. With this being said, lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in the next video. Bye, guys.